Just today, we are going to solve the problem of what we like to call channels. Now, what does channels mean? Remember back in the day when you got like cable channels and they were only like 20, and then you got DirecTV or Dish Network and they were like 500, and now you have all
Yes.
these different apps for all these different channels. It's like, which one do I choose? How do I know what to watch? We're going to talk about the same thing in your coaching business right now of what channels specifically that align with your business that you're building and the avatar of where they live, which social channels to live in. Because this is where a lot of coaches just get hung up is if we look at it, there's so many different channels out there. And let's define channel. Will you define channel for them, please?
Well, a channel is any mechanism that you're pulling to connect with other people.
Yes.
So it isn't your television channel or your, Netflix app or something like that. But this is a space where you have an avenue to connect with others.
That's right. Yep.
And so we'll see that in a lot of different ways. And
Mhm.
that's what's the beauty of this is you don't have to do it only the way that Adam did it or only the way that Jess did it. You're going to pick the way that works the best with who you are, where you like to show up, but most strategically, where your avatar lives.
That's right.
And that's why we start so early with payoff and things like that, because you're not going to be able to choose the right channel if you don't know where your people are.
That's right. So this is series, what are we in? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 out of 7. Is that what we're
Yes.
doing here? Yeah, this is 4 out of
Yeah.
7. And if you recall, we're not going to go back over this. You can go back and listen to them. We start with what Jess just said, the payoff, right? That is step number 1. After that, we go into what we call the math. After the math, we go into the audience. And after the audience, this is the channel portion. Now,
hmm
Jess, gosh, in our world of connectivity today, there are so many different channels. Let's list some of them, right? We've got the social medias of the world, right? You've got the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the TikToks, the Snapchats, which ones am I missing?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yes, gosh, that one is always overlooked. We've got the podcast, we've got the stages, we've got the newsletter, the emails, right? There's so many
The
different
YouTube.
the
Yeah.
YouTubers, yes,
Events.
events, books, right?
Books.
There's
Yeah.
so many different channels out there. And when we have coaches either come to our challenge or come into the community and dive into the blueprint, they feel like they have to go to all the channels that are out there and then they get overwhelmed, right? They get overwhelmed over and over and over.
They do. And the great thing is what we are teaching people is you don't have to do them all today. So when you go look at somebody who you would consider further along in the coaching journey, so you've got your Tim Grovers or Ben Newmans as performance coaches, right? Or
Mhm.
you've got your um, Jen Gottlieb's or Brock Johnson or somebody like that that's a social media coach. Adley Kinsman for Viralish. It doesn't matter who it is. They're way further along, which is why you see them on every channel because they've gotten so far along that they've actually built a media team to
Right.
handle all of that. They're not
Yeah.
doing it all themselves.
No.
And so that is not what we are talking about today in the context of moving from a one-to-one coaching business to a group business.
Right.
Because one-to-one, you likely knew those 10 or 20 people that are on your roster and you could go into your sphere of influence, your
Mhm.
world and collect those people and connect with them and enroll them. But when we grow a group, you are likely not going to have everybody that you want it to fill the size of the group that you want long term.
That's right.
If you're launching with 5, you might have them. But if you want 500, you might not have connections to 500. And so
Mhm.
that's where the channel piece comes in is because the channel comes in when you know your math numbers and your audience and what your deficit or your delta is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you leverage a channel to grow your audience, to hit the math and deliver the payoff.
That's right. Now, let's talk about channels in the sense of where this audience lives though, right? Because this is a big one. This is a really, really big one. And I'm going to go back to an old school coach that I had when I was learning how to hire people. He made me define my bear, right? And in this case of our conversation is you know who this avatar is. If you're going to go from a one-to-one business to a one-to-many business, you have to know who it is you're looking to attract. So he would say, Adam, what kind of bear are you hunting for? Is it a black bear, a brown bear, a Kodiak bear, a polar bear? What are you hunting for? So that's what he would always say. And so I would have to define that, just like when we would coach you to go define your avatar. Now let's go to the second thing that he would always tell me. Where does that bear live? Right? Where does that bear live? And in this case, whether as it relates to your avatar, you have to understand where this avatar lives. Now, when we say live, we don't mean their physical home address. We mean as it relates to a channel, right? Where are they already engaged with you and continuing to engage with you in a specific channel? Now, I have, and you know this, Jess, I have a 17 and a 15-year-old. They can't even really spell Facebook, right? It's like, face what, Dad? What is that old thing, right? And unfortunately, as a almost 50-year-old, I can't believe that, as an almost 50-year-old, I have a lot of bears that live on Facebook, right? A lot of my bears live on Facebook. My kids, 17 and 15, their bears live on Snapchat, right? So it is identifying this channel to understand where your avatar actually lives. And then the last thing I would say, and we're not going to go into this just yet, is once you know who the bear is, where the bear lives, now you have to understand how to connect with the bear. And that's the next podcast. You're not going to get that from us right now because we're only going to talk about channels. But I wanted to lay that out there because this is the part where if you like Instagram, I love Instagram, Jess, you know that. Though my bear probably lives on Facebook.
I think Instagram and Facebook are fairly aligned. Although I laugh because you didn't use Facebook when we met, but you were heavy in Instagram. I still lean heavily into Facebook because I got it when it was invite only to college students.
Yeah, me
and
too.
so literally it was a formative piece of my middle and high school and college years, right? And so that is my natural go-to over Instagram, which I reactivated because of you. So it's such an interesting thing. And I think that's why this conversation is so good is, again, social media is only one channel. And so Adam loves to use that as a tool for connection and a tool to grow his audience.
That's right.
I strongly dislike social media. I do it because I know that it's a connection space and I keep it to stay connected with people that I have no other way to really stay connected to internationally. But at the same time, I would always rather prefer a different channel of being in a room with live humans. So I love to teach. I love to do keynote speaking. I even will go so far as to say I'll educate digitally on Zoom. That kind of thing is much more attractive to me. So I choose in-person channels, which is different than Adam. And the beauty is we've both grown, 6-7 figure coaching businesses through that. And so that's why I think having this conversation today is so important for the audience of the podcast is because you're listening to one of the I Love Coaching channels right now.
That's right. Yep.
And you're choosing to be here. And so you're a great example of choosing a channel. And that's why Adam and I are choosing to show up here. But when Adam started coaching and when I started coaching, there was no I Love Coaching podcast.
No. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to picking a channel, when you're beginning, when you're starting out, and again, what we're talking to you about is this going from, if you have access to our blueprint, you'll understand this language. And if you don't, that's okay. Go get our blueprint, which means you have to join our community. Is you have to go from phase 2, which is one-on-one coaching business that keeps your lights on, to now a one-to-many approach. And there will come a time, right? We love to say choose one channel to start that transition because in phase 2, one-to-one coaching, you had a channel that you reached out and connected with these people that already knew you. Phase 3, you're probably going to have more people that need to engage with you. So we still like to say, let's go take that phase 2 channel that you used and maybe incorporate a second one, but no more than 2. So we have the Instagram, the Facebook, Adam and Jess. We have the Jess on a Stage, Adam on a Stage. We have the Jess and Adam podcast, the I Love Coaching podcast. So those are 3 different channels. And the neat part about that is every single time, Jess, when we are speaking, it's usually to new who's, right?
Hmm.
New people that are engaging with us to say, oh, that's an interesting take. That lands with the problem that I have. Let me go engage with them. So I want you to hear us here. You're building a one-to-many. That's what we're talking about. And we are saying, okay, you chose one channel already for your one-to-one business growth. Now use that same channel. And if you need to expand, go ahead and expand, but only pick one.
Yeah. The message is not do it all.
No,
Don't
not
suddenly
yet.
become a content machine, because that will burn you out and you won't be
Mm-mm,
able to deliver to the group at a high level.
mm-mm.
And your one-on-one clients that are still paying the bills will feel that.
Yes.
And so our message here is be intentional, stay systematic in what you're doing. And then if the time, space, bandwidth, passion, all of that allows, you may add a second. So that's why this is a perfect example is Adam and I each had our own first primary attraction space for us.
Mm-hmm.
We added in the I Love Coaching podcast. We built a system to deliver that to you consistently with very minimal time and effort now. And so that's when we went and added another mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes sequentially based on who you are and how you show up in the world. It is not, oh, I have to do Instagram because Adam said to do Snapchat and Instagram, you know? And so I hope that this is resonating for those people who are like, I want to grow a coaching business, but I don't want to build a media mechanism for social media.
Right.
And we're telling you, you don't have to.
That's right.
You just have to figure out what you're coaching, who you're coaching, how they like to consume information, and then build a mechanism that helps you meet them where they are in
Mm-hmm.
that space.
Yeah. So Jess, this is kind of fun. Let's take them down the channel. I don't care what channel you pick, right? Let's take a social media channel as an example. Here's what happens, and this is what we've watched and learned is, and I've learned this the hard way too, is remember social media starts with the word social. So social is exactly what it sounds like. It's like social can be entertaining, social can be fun, social can be, it's just that it's social. Even though Gary Vee now says that it is not social media, it is, what's he call it? Interest media, right? Because the algorithms are pushing what you're interested in. So when you post something fun on one of these channels, you get a lot of engagement, right? Maybe you're at the lake and you trip and fell and you fell into the water, but you're able to keep your beer out of the water. I don't know, right? That is a funny thing, and people are going to laugh and comment and engage. Now, let's go into your business. Let's say you get a really educational, serious post, right? And it's a professional post. And you're like, Adam and Jess, I did one of those and I got like 5 likes and no comments. Wah, wah, it failed. No, it didn't fail, because the people who liked it are the people who are engaging because it aligns and lands with them. The people that are following you right now are not following you specifically because you are a coach, right? They first probably started following you because of a relationship, or because they liked you, or because of something along the connection space. It didn't have to do with the education space, more than likely. So
Correct.
when you do a post of sorts and you come running back and you say, it doesn't work, it is working. You just got to realize that the channel you chose may not have as many bears or avatars as you think it does. And that's just something you need to pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, consistency is just time on task over time.
Mm-hmm.
And what we know is we live in such an instant gratification world that a lot of people will try that once or twice, feel like they flopped.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't matter whether it's, social media or YouTube or an email list, right? But they'll do it a little bit. They'll not stay the course, and then they'll make a snap judgment that that was the failure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what it is at all. It's going to be a smaller subset of data collection, because anybody, whether it's your YouTube views, your email opens, your social media, not everybody is there, like Adam said, for that content because you weren't consistently posting it before. So that's not what attracted them to your list or your page or whatever in the beginning. But you can curate it to that over time as
Yes.
long as you continue to show up authentically and you're not just like leveraging AI for really crummy AI written posts, which is the bane of my existence right
Mhm,
now, which is also
mhm.
part of the reason I can't stand social media. I'm like, "You can't even take the time to write me a caption? Come on."
Well,
So
and again, we want to keep this in the lane of channels, choosing the
mhm,
channel that is going to be most aligned with you authentically, most aligned with where your avatar lives, and most aligned with you being able to stay committed to it. Right. And,
mhm.
and again, I like Jeff's definition there. I had a coach a long time ago ingrain this in my head of the word commitment. And I want to share this with you all here because, again, as you go down a channel, there will be days, there will be times where you may post something, or you may email with something, or you may do a podcast recording, or you may be up on a stage and you land flat. You don't get the engagement you want. You don't get the downloads you want. You don't get the QR codes clicked that you want. Commitment is this. Write this down. Doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the original mood you set it in has left you. Say
Oh,
it again.
so good.
Commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the original mood you set it in had left you. Because here's what's going to happen. Maybe after you listen to this amazing podcast, you'll say, whoa, I'm going to choose my channel. I'm going to go after it. And then you may do it once or twice. And then you may do it 2 or 3 more times. And it may fall flat. And you're like, oh, this isn't working. Gosh, this really hurts my ego. My people aren't engaging. Oh my gosh, I lost a couple people now. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do all funny stuff now. And that's not going to help your business. Okay.
No.
That's not going to help your business. So
Well,
stay committed to this process and really pick the channels that align with you authentically and where your
mhm.
avatar lives.
And consistency and commitment to it does not mean every hour of every day. That's
Mm-mm.
the other piece I definitely want to say here because if you're picking social media, the gurus are like, "Oh, post 3 to 5 times a day, stories, reels, blah blah blah." And that's overwhelming if it's not something you do naturally,
Yeah.
which is why I'm very adamant that you pick something that aligns with the way that you already show up in the world
Mm-hmm.
because I love doing this podcast. It drops once a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a massive time commitment.
Mm-mm.
I love writing my newsletter around the same topic so that people who are not auditory learners, but they're, written word learners can engage with the same concept or not waste their time listening if they just don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so that channel for me has been a great outlet, but my commitment to it, my consistency in it is a weekly podcast and a weekly email,
Mm-hmm.
not 3 to 5 things a day.
No.
If I'm ready later and I want to expand that, then I can hire it out or pull another lever and
Yeah.
add more to it, especially in the world we live in today with AI
Yep.
and, virtual assistants and all the things. But I'm not building a media team today.
Mm-mm.
I am building a mechanism to grow my business, to grow I Love Coaching, right? And that's the same thing Adam's doing. And it's not being all things to all people on all channels.
Mm-mm. It's almost, we gosh, just from all the containers that we've come from in the past, right? And all the oh my gosh, all of the inputs that we see and hear and watch every single day, there's so much comparison out there. Gosh, I'm not doing the same thing that Dan Martell is, and he's got 10 million viewers now. It's like, no, that ain't you, kid. That's not what you're doing. We're teaching you how to build a simple framework coaching business. That's it. That is
Well,
super simple and it. Yeah.
Dan has a team of 20 putting
Yes.
that content out. Dan is not sitting there making his own reels,
No, he's
editing
not.
his own videos.
No, he's not. So what I wanted to say is smaller, simpler is easier in the
Mhm.
beginning, right? In the beginning, you can grow and scale, and we'll talk about that later. But right now, we're talking about going from a phase 2. You have 10 one-on-one coaching clients that are paying you a number that keeps the lights on and gets you out of your survivor job, right? Secondly, is now let's go build a one to many approach where maybe you can offset some of your one on ones because that one to many now is supplementing that income and you can release some of your one on ones. And now you're actually making the same or more money in less time. And the
Mhm.
simplest way to do that is to choose one or two channels of where your avatar is and you communicating with them on value. Yep, that's it.
100%.
That's it. So simple, you guys. So, so simple. Um, and it's interesting, Jess. Back in the day with Dan, back in the day when I met Dan and Sam, who had just started to live on his couch in his basement, 2023, we're now at 2026. Dan only had like 700 or 800,000 followers at that time. Yeah, that's a great number. Though at the same time, that's all he had. Now across all of his platforms, he's at 10 million and he's doing incredible things, but he has like 20 Sams, right? And
Mhm.
Sam is his video guy. And when we were just with him in Dallas a couple weeks ago, what did he have? 7, 8 people there with him for a
Mhm.
45-minute keynote?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
had 2 videographers, he had his EA, he had
Mhm.
Sam, who's his content strategist, which is different than a videographer.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's so beautiful is when you're ready, you can scale to that, but
Yeah.
nobody is telling you to go, he calls it going pro.
Right.
Nobody's telling you to go pro, to go from 10 people that are one-on-ones to 10 people in a group.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
that is not our message,
No.
and I think that's where people tend to make the leap mentally is, "Oh my gosh, I have to do all these things." Or even Rory Vaden, we love him, we love brand builders, and he has a strategy called the content diamond with content repurposing. But that alone overwhelms people.
Yeah.
And his whole strategy is film one long form video, podcast or otherwise for YouTube,
Mhm.
and then repurpose it into a blog, a newsletter, short form video, short carousels, written posts for things like LinkedIn, and use the same message across all platforms. Well, that's great, but people don't have the time or energy to go from nothing to that either.
Mhm.
And they might not know where everybody lives. And so it's very important to spend time understanding where your audience is and meeting them where they are intentionally and collecting data on one platform
Mhm.
first,
Yes. Very,
which
very
is
true.
so I do not want to hear of somebody saying they listened to this and then they went and threw spaghetti at walls with content trying all the different things
Mm-mm.
because that is literally the opposite of the message.
Yeah. And I wanna also say that this isn't a content podcast. This is a channel
No.
podcast that we're sharing with you and coaching with you in this space of choosing the channel, right? When it comes
Yes.
to content, that's a completely different story. Completely different story. This
Hmm.
is channel oriented only, and you getting intentional with the channel that you're on so that you can connect with the avatars that you intend to connect with. Very simple. Very, very simple.
Exactly.
Very, very simple.
And so, if that's something that's landed with you or you've got questions about it, feel free to reach out to Adam and I or check us out at ilovecoachingco.com. You can see the free Get Paid to Coach guide. That's a written thing. That's a channel that Jess wrote, right?
Mhm.
No,
It
with
is.
Adam's,
It is.
years of experience behind it.
Mhm.
Or you can come see Adam and I teach live the challenge, right?
Mhm.
Before you ever do anything with our membership. But
That's right.
those are two totally different channels to connect with us, and so we're practicing what we're preaching,
Yep.
and we would love for you to engage with our content on the channel that's most in alignment with you.
Mhm.
And really that's to me the story of the channel in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, everything that we do, Jess, is so duplicatable. Everything that we do is heck, you guys can R&D everything that we do. And that's what we give to all the community members. That's what we give to the people who come into the challenge. That's what we give to everybody is literally everything that we do, you all can do and also build your own 6 and 7 figure coaching business. So, I want to leave you with a little cliffhanger here because again, this was number 4 in a series of 7 and we were talking about channels today. Next is connect, right? After you understand your channel, now it's like, okay, what do I do? Now I found my channel. Now I need to learn how to connect to grow the audience so you have more abilities and more who's to bring into your ecosystem? That's the next podcast. We'll see you guys then. See you. Bye.
Bye.